Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk about your cohesive lesson, which will be evaluated in your capstone module 7. Now, by the end of module 5, you should have completed all of the material that is required for your cohesive lesson. Now, you may, when you get to the capstone, find that you need to tweak it some or a little. It's all going to be dependent upon whether you were kind of working with a cohesive unit in mind as you were working through the lesson. But even if you need to tweak it some, it shouldn't take too much time. So I'm just gonna go through that. So here I am in the lessons area, and I'm going to go into week 1, which is where my cohesive lesson is. We only need to evaluate one cohesive lesson, so I don't need to worry about week 2 or week 3. I'm going to be just evaluating one cohesive lesson. Your cohesive lesson is going to include your SLOs, your task list. You created that in module 5. Your collaborative item, your discussion forum, you created that in module 4. It's going to include just some type of course material that relates to the lesson. It's going to include that quiz that you created in module 5, and also that assignment / assessment that you created in module 5, and it's also going to include a rubric. So that's all that you're going to need for your as far as the cohesive lesson part of your capstone goes. I do want to take a moment to talk about the cohesive part of the lesson, and that just meaning that everything in your lesson needs to work together. So I'm going to talk about that briefly. So for the first SLO, you see identify the main idea, theme, and argument in oral presentations or podcasts. This is actually aligned to this assignment down here, where they're actually listening to a podcast, and as you can see, they're answering questions about the main idea, theme, and argument. And then if I scroll back up, you see the second one is identify and explain elements of organizational transparency. And that is also related to this assignment right here. There's actually a word attachment with some questions about organizational transparencies within that assignment. And also the test actually, this quiz right here also is a quiz on organizational transparency. And then number 3, explain and discuss nonverbal communication. And as you can see, that relates to this assignment right here, where students are explaining and discussing nonverbal types of communication. And then that weekly task list relates to the tasks that are due in this lesson. So hopefully you can see how everything kind of all comes together in a cohesive unit. So you wouldn't see, in this unit, since it's cohesive, since this unit is about communication, you wouldn't see a unit, you wouldn't, so hopefully you can see how this all ties together. For example, you wouldn't see an SLO about how we communicate using social media, because we don't have any assignments that assess that, where students are required to explain or discuss how we communicate with social media. So you wouldn't just have an assignment there, or you wouldn't have a random PowerPoint or video about how to write a business letter or how to write a business email. So hopefully, like I said, you can see how it all comes together. If not, don't hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns. I'm happy to talk with you. Take care.